Hello and welcome everyone to another Northbasics video on this channel. Today we're gonna talk about feasts in Northgard. So yeah, feasts mostly misused in the start of the game when you start playing because yeah, it's hard to get the right timing for them feasts down. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to explain to you when the perfect time to feast is, what a feast actually is, and yeah, for what it can be used. So let's just start in with what is a feast. Yeah, a feast gives you usually +2 on every production you have right here, all of the basic productions, like a lot of stone and iron. So you won't generate stone and iron out of nothing just because you feast, it's just for the bonus here. And you get +2 happiness. And on every, production, you'll get 20% bonus, and I think there is stone and iron also within it, so you can boost your stone economy if you have 2 stone cutters. Right, cutting stone, and you push the feast button, the stone cutters will be more effective than they were before. Just because I'm goat right now, goat is a little bit special than other clans. They will not get 20% bonus on their production, they will get a 30% bonus to their production, what makes them even a little bit stronger than other clans with the feast. And the goat clan is actually the clan that will feast the most because its food production is just going through the roof. The stag clan can feast quite a lot too because yeah, just a strong economy too. Just the goat clan can generate so much food that it's just incomparable to any other clan, and he's really the goat, the feast machine, how people like to call him sometimes, and it really deserves the name therefore. So the feast costs, right now it costs 150, that means I had already one feast. So the first feast will cost you 100 food, the second one 150, the third one 220, the fourth one 330, the fifth one 500, the sixth one 750 food, and afterwards, I think the next one costs 1000 then 1300 something ish just right now. Along that area I don't get that sure anymore, because usually you won't feast there anymore, because a feast needs to pay out, and if you pay over 1000 food for a feast, it's actually very hard to make it to let it pay out in the end of the time. So I think after the 500, maybe the 700 feast, you won't feast anymore to improve your eco there, because yeah, it just won't help you anymore. Okay, just forgot to do that. So I think after the 700 feast you won't really realistic feast anymore. Even the 700 food feast is quite hard, but I think in a free player game, and when you really don't have any use for your food there, you can think about just throwing that in. For the goat clan, it's also when you hit your 500 fame that all your military units get a resistance bonus. It's what I just want to throw in here very short before I forget that. That's why you will see goats sometimes feast when you fight, and the goat will get a free feast at 500 fame too. So sometimes your goat mate will just feast in the moment you fight, and yeah, just don't be too confused about that, because he will do that just before because his units will get a resistance bonus. But I think you can actually see that by all of his units getting a little shield over their heads. So yeah, that can really help you out then. So when to feast, that is really important question, since oftentimes you see players just feast when they can't do it. But this is not actually the time when you should do it. So I would actually recommend to have your first feast at the earliest point. So really, the earliest point to feast in a game is after the first winter. So just when the winter ends, you can push in your feast, and yeah, it will help you quite a lot. And my best games are usually when I'm able to do that, so maybe focus on it a little bit to have a feast just right after the winter. I try to do it with most of the clans, but with some clans it's just not possible. With stag and goat, I usually always feast just right after the winter, so I get a good start in the time after the winter. It is actually worth already, since you have a few villagers out, and it can really boost your early economy. It will of course always be more valuable if you keep your feast way more back. So the more villages you have when the feast comes in, the more it will help you. So definitely watch out to not blow out of all of your feasts very early. So if you don't plan to go very aggressive very early, so if you plan to go with in a 3v3, go aggressive in the second or third year, you can maybe try to feast a lot in the second year. So I still wouldn't really recommend to feast in the first year. Some builds you can maybe do it just to maybe empower your wolf player a little bit, let him go a little bit more freely over the map, because he has more food and more resources and more everything, just to work with that. But I wouldn't recommend it if you don't want to go aggressive and if you didn't talk it out with your teammates. Please don't feast before the first year, because you can sometimes just rip plans of other players. Because what I actually forgot to say is, when you feast you will get 20 fame. And some players really want that 20 fame, so at some points you will even go a little bit back, just throw your food a little bit in other parts of your economy, because the Raven player is going to want to feast, or maybe even the Stack player if he wants to hit the fame. But yeah, sometimes you gotta take a step back there, but if they want to start to do the ultra expensive feast, so the 300, the 500 and the 700 feast, you should maybe talk with them and ask them if they really want to spend 300 food right now on a feast, but they never really get back from that single feast. Because yes, Stack Clan of course can do that too, just like you, because he can have a real strong economy and can just get the 300 food back by the feast. But otherwise you should maybe ask if you shouldn't feast right there. Yeah, I don't actually have too much special tricks and tips for feasts. I just usually, what I can say is, of course, don't have too many villagers building when you do a feast. You will sometimes see me building a brewery just in the same time I feast, and sometimes I always describe then, because I think it's quite hard to understand then. I don't care if this villager is building the brewery right then when I do my feast over here, because the villager is building the brewery over here, and after I build the brewery, I will, if I get the happiness through the feast or not, I will of course throw the brewer in the brewery right there. So it doesn't make any difference to me if he is, his production won't be boosted at any time. So I can just let him build the brewery right there, do my feast. Yeah, he will of course lose a little bit of production from him when he would grab food, but there is no way that he grabs food, because I will need him as a brewer. So that's why I don't care when I build my brewery here. At any other building I will keep out, will watch out that I don't waste too much, but right here with the brewery I don't care anymore. And I actually, at the start of my when I started playing Northgard, I stopped the brewery to make my feast there, but yeah, then I realized that it's not really useful, because it won't help. And I always ask myself, okay, what is the reason why you don't think that is right useful? And I just explained it to you, because the villager won't get any food or any wood or any resource anyway. He will just get happiness, and the happiness will be not boosted by the feast in a percent way, just by the +2 happiness. So that's actually it. So that were my little video about the feasts in Northgard. It actually got a little bit longer than I expected, but maybe a little bit bigger topic than I expected. But if I missed something, please just write it down in the comments. I hope I didn't, but it can always happen. So if you enjoyed it, you can consider to just leave a like or a sub. Yeah, have a great day everyone, and see you back in the next video. So, bye bye.